on me. So I'm just gonna throw this in here real quick. I'm pretty sure the only reason why my best friend did all that stuff with my ex was because she was pissed off at me for actually dating him. Because from what I had heard through other people who knew that she was doing that with my boyfriend, they said that she didn't talk to him or anything anymore. And that she really actually loved her boyfriend that she was with. Little TMI. Throughout my boyfriend and I's whole relationship, he would beg me to be open-minded while being intimate. And he would want to do things that I really just did not want to do. There was a long list of things.
And I asked my friend for her Snapchat so I could Snapchat her. So I did, and I told her everything that was going on. And somehow it got flipped around on me. Her saying that I was obsessed with her boyfriend. And then she got the nudes that I sent her boyfriend and sent them around the whole school. My new school. Moral of the story, if he says he's single, make sure he's actually single. Story time about how my boyfriend was cheating on me for 3 months straight at his new job. So a little background information. At this point in our relationship, I did not have, and I went into a little bit of a depression. So after losing everything, my 6 siblings and I had to move into a 3-bedroom place with my grandparents. And a month or so later, I was looking for friends. Someone to talk to or pretty much anything that would just make me feel better. Well, this guy messaged me, and he said, "You're pretty as shit." And I'm 15, so a bitch was excited. Well, 2 weeks later, I asked my mom if I could go over my friend Samantha's. And of course she said yes, because I had stayed with Samantha a lot during this time. Also
In the hallway, and that we were fighting, and that this guy was a total loser, and that I should be with his son instead. Which is not true. I was single. So again, when he's telling me this, I kind of just have to nod along and like play yes man. In that same conversation, he also told me that my friends were doing in the stairs, like share. I'm just kidding. I think it's important to treat people with grace to a certain extent. Of course, you know, you still have to look out for your safety, and I feel like I did that. I feel like my family did.
Give me peso, extendo. I carry bitches like a Greco.
phone. So at around 1:30 a.m., I get a Snapchat from her on his account, and she's laying on his chest. Like for part 3. Part 3 about why I made my boyfriend stop being friends with this girl best friend. So like I said, she snaps me at 1:30 in the morning, a picture of her laying on his chest, and it's captioned, "Hey girlie, I hope you don't mind, but I have to spend the night at his house. He lost track of time working on our project, and it's way too late for him to take me home." So at this point, I'm furious, and I don't snap her back. So the next morning, I call my boyfriend.
What goes hand in hand with that is the fact that when I made my YouTube channel, I did not tell a single soul. I did not trust a single hoe. Because I was like, if anyone finds it, then that means that my videos are doing well enough to be seen, so I don't really care at that point. But little detective found it and told fucking everyone. She made fun of and shit on me so hard for having that channel. Like you can imagine, when it blew up, she started kissing my ass again. When my YouTube channel was like in its prime, like blowing up like crazy.
It is the most instant karma I've ever seen in my life, if I think I've heard of one. Yesterday while I was at work, we had credit card fraud attempt. So basically they were trying to use someone's like account information in order to purchase $1,000 in gift cards. This is very common to the point that like it blocks those type of transactions when it sees them. They don't tend to happen a lot. The guy was really calm about the situation and just left, which is good because the only other option in the end of this story was him getting arrested because, babe, we know it's fake. There was a situation last year, I remember I'd only been working at Sephora at this
about a day when he shows up at one of my classes. He was waiting outside the door for me, and I think he knew what class I had because I had told him what classes I had this year, and I guess he got lucky. But anyways, he started talking to me, and this was in one of the crowded hallways outside my class. So a lot of people were walking around, and I didn't want to be affiliated with him. So I just told him to leave. But today, I was
So I had to do it.
Taste me how to do it. Taste me how to do it.
She was like getting so loud and like rude. My manager at the time was like, "Ma'am, this is fake. Like, this is fake. So unless you're gonna leave, we're gonna call the police on you." She proceeds to go on this whole rant how she's a real killer and she'll come back up and blow this place up. And then walks out. And I had to be walked out to my car that night. Okay guys, so I'm done with my makeup, which means I'm done with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed that Sephora story time, and best believe there is gonna be a lot more because it's only November.
Started to notice the first flags that I didn't notice in the beginning of our relationship. Like the one time he went to the mall with his friends and he gave these girls his Snapchat. He wasn't gonna tell me about it, but then his friends told me, like for part 3. Part 3 about how my boyfriend cheated on me with his best friend's sister. So like I said, I started noticing red flags. Well, when I had confronted him about the Snapchat thing, he told me that he felt bad if he didn't give it to them because he didn't want to be mean. Another red flag is that he would never, ever, 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 ever let me touch his phone. Like, if he even saw my—
Gosh. Like, how could you do this to me? I had a poster board and everything. So I'm just like, well, why didn't you tell me that you liked him? And she goes, what the fuck do you mean? Like, you knew. But I was sitting there thinking about the fact that they were best friends for 5 years and nothing ever happened, so it's really not my fault. And then this girl has the nerve to say, I'm pretty sure if you just break up with him now, me and you can get past this and still be friends. So I said no. So then I called my boyfriend, told him that we talked it out, and I didn't even tell him about what she said or anything like that, because I just wanted the situation to be over and done with. So she's like, hey, I'm really sorry about how I acted yesterday. I would love to help you get ready for your date if you'll let me. I feel so bad. And we're sisters, so of course I get over it, and I tell her yes, I want her to help me, like for part 3. Part 3 about why my sister is probably worse than yours. So like I said, she asked me if I want help getting ready. I say yes. And my family's super Italian, so we have thick, dark hair that grows in everywhere. Like, I literally have a unibrow, and the peach fuzz that's above my lips looks like a mustache. So my sister's like, hey, do you want me to wax your face? And I say yes. And she definitely wasn't over the situation.
Everyone is gonna die, and no one is gonna remember you, so fuck it.
I feel like it's been long enough that I can finally share this story, but this was a really bad date I went on, I think in September. So we meet on Hinge. This is where all terrible dates seem to begin. We're texting, we're vibing, we honestly had really good banter. He asked me out to this restaurant, I agreed to go. The restaurant that he picked didn't really have a dress code. It was one of those places that could be casual if you wanted it to be, or you could dress up if you wanted to. So I didn't really know the vibes for the dress code, but if I had the ability to— with all 4 of his best friends. And then like 2 weeks later, my boyfriend started talking to me about how he was also having problems down there. And I was like, oh, maybe you should go to the doctors. So after he went to the doctors, he texts me and he goes, yeah, I have an STD. So then I sent him all the videos of his best friends and I said, yeah, I hope you enjoy living with that for the rest of your life. And I also gave it to all of his friends, and then they spread it to their girlfriends. Payback's a bitch. Story time about how my—
of it. So that night I went to sleep. I should have knew this was gonna happen because I'm always the butt of the joke whenever it comes to our friend group. Like, I'm always the one getting picked on. Like, there was this one thing that my friend Ashley saw online. It was like, if you put white nail polish on your teeth, it would make your teeth whiter. So who did they decide to try it out on? Yup, me. And yes, I could have said no, but these were my best friends. I didn't think that they would intentionally hurt me. Anyway, so like I said, I go to sleep and all of a sudden I wake up in the middle of the night to something very, very, very hot on my—
She looks and she's like, actually, you know what? Like, I'm good. I got food in the crib. Like, thanks anyways. Bye. So then he goes to woman number 2's house. And he's like, I got this pizza, large pizza for free. Do you want it? She's like, hell yeah, I want it. Like, I'm in here starving. He's like, okay, under one condition, I get to leave this bag at your crib. And she's like, yep, leave the bag. I don't even care. I'm so hungry. Just give me the pizza. So he leaves the bag at her crib, and it becomes like this everyday thing. He keeps coming to her crib every day with this free pizza under the circumstance that he gets to leave this bag.
It's about damn time. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump.
Showed one of my friends, and we kind of made a plan to get rid of the blackmail. So my birthday was coming up, and I was going to Disney, and my mom said that I could invite 2 friends. Originally, I wasn't going to invite Tessa, but since I had this plan, I invited her and one of my other friends. On the 3rd night, my friend and I decided to take our plan into action. Tessa was sleeping, so I went on her phone, and I went and deleted all the pictures, like for part 3. Story time. Everybody's saying that I cheated on my ex-boyfriend, but I want your guys' opinion. So a little background information.
If you may ask, in Freddie's mind, he was married to J-Lo. Now, in these little hallway conversations that he would stop and have with me, he would tell me that he knew J-Lo from the Bronx when she was— it's funny now because of all the memes. They were like dating and they wanted to get married, but it just didn't work out because she got famous. He bought her a ring and that he proposed to her. Obviously, I knew he wasn't on his medication, so I just I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. Like, I had no idea.
And the windows don't really have curtains, so I could see my path, like, looking outside the window. Oh, there's gonna be a part 3. Okay, part 3, but for all the new people, guys, stop telling me to post the part 2 because I always post my part 2s. Okay, so the motion sensor light comes on, and we literally stop dead in our tracks. Meanwhile, we're literally laying in the grass, like, just don't even know what to do. And there's this side door that we were gonna go through. So my sister put the dog in the room and we're just waiting for the text to...
Your house is filled with food. Make sure that you prioritize yourself and you pour into you and you make sure that your cup is full. So that way when a man comes and is offering you whatever and is dangling it in front of your face, you're not so desperate that you're just accepting whatever. You know, you make sure that you love yourself. You make sure that you respect yourself. You don't lower your standards and you don't ignore the red flags. And I know as women, we hear stuff like this all the time, but sometimes you just need to hear it in different ways for it to...
You know I'm the face of the city, bitch. That's why you mad.
Sure, you're not. I get home, he sent me a text asking if I got home safe. I wasn't gonna respond, but I was like, you know what? Let me just say I got home safe and then just tell him I'm not gonna be seeing him again. However, when I sent that text, he had already blocked me. Oh yeah, I have a feeling he wanted me to know that he blocked me. That's why he sent that text, because I don't know why else he would do that. But yeah, he still stalks me on Instagram from time to time though. So if he's seeing this, hey, like, you suck.
Story time. Let me tell you about this.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Hold on. That's the song that constantly plays in my head. I'm a very jolly green person. And then, like, you know when, like, you know that sound where it's like, Rrr! That's what it sounded like. And the music stops. And now it's just like, fuck it, baby, here. Ah! Everybody get the fuck down, no worries. Ah! Y'all, it's 2 in the fucking morning. Please bear with me. Okay, anyways, back to the topic. So, I had to contain myself. But I can no longer pay attention to the movie because I'm genuinely disturbed. Like,
I'm on a Mexican radio.
Hey girl, how are you doing today?
Not good. My grandma couldn't finish the rest of the TikTok sound this morning.
I said him.
I wonder what's in mommy's purse. Chicken nugget. Brianna, did you steal my purse? No. I really hope you're telling the truth, because if you don't tell the truth before the timer runs out, you'll die. Okay, I took it. I'm glad you told the one.
And my friends are like, my friend Allie was like, "Here, why are you so quiet? Like, don't be nervous, like, about the tryout. Like, you got this, right?" And so I'm just like, and Allie's like one of my best friends. Like, she's the closest person on the team. Like, hold on. I'm the closest to her on the team. And so I'm telling her, like, I basically tell her exactly what's going on. That I just found this news out. And I'm like so conflicted. And you know, as
so don't say another word. And I was like, okay. And I wanted to tell my friend before anybody else got back to her, but it's a bunch of teenage guys and they're gonna go and say shit like, he was talking about her ass. Yeah. And my friend was mad at me. She didn't talk to me for like 2 days after that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, your boyfriend's one that said that. All I said was stuff about joining track and your boyfriend's one to talk about my ass. And you're mad at me. Like, what is this? Whatever. So her boyfriend's put an IS at this point. And that probably happened like 2 weeks. So I don't even know when ago. And I don't know why it got brought up in a conversation. We were talking about her boyfriend or something. And I was like...
There was the mom, the dad, 4 kids, and their grandparents. So like 8 people. But I was super excited because I was like, okay, this is awesome. I get to meet some new friends. But after 2 weeks of not seeing anybody playing in the backyard or anybody on the school bus, I started to think that their family was super fucking weird. And everyone in our neighborhood liked to gossip, and everyone was saying how they barely see the people who had just moved in. So my mom decided to take one for the team and make some brownies, take them over to the house, and I ended up going with her.
I went on a date with this guy who threw me out of his car at 1:30 in the morning because he was angry that I didn't believe in aliens. And he said that I was ignorant and shallow to think that we're the only living species in this whole universe and that I deserve to walk home. Mind you, he lived in Burbank, California. I lived in Inglewood, California. And if anybody's in California, you know how far Burbank is.
So I tell him, pick me or her. And she starts crying. After a minute of silence, he hangs up the phone and then blocks me. Good luck to the next girl.
Storytime about the 2-year-old boy who lost his life at the Pittsburgh Zoo. On a Sunday morning, a mother decided that she was going to take her son to the zoo. Everything was going good until they had gotten to the wild African dog exhibit. I'm going to insert a picture of what it looks like right here. On both sides of the exhibit, there was plexiglass. But looking straight out into the exhibit, there was no glass. They also had a roughly 4.5...
I just flipped the switch.
Auditorium, and I was like, did y'all enjoy the movie? And then I looked down at the girl that had said something to my mom, and I was like, did you enjoy your movie? And she had just looked at me And then she had went and looked to her friend. Now, mind you, when she had said something to my mom, the lights were off. So I thought it was 2 of them, but no, it was 3 of them. They had to be pushing 200. All tea, no shade. Bro, these females could have just sat on my little paper thin ass and I would have been fucking done. But I like a challenge. Alright, so once we're walking out of the movie theater...
As I do, the entire light bulb smashes into pieces. Story time. My sister and I were staying in an old hotel in the middle of rural Montana. The building had been in use since the 1800s, and it was one of my sister's favourite places. But the night we stayed there, I was kept up all night by someone pacing around on the hardwood floor in the room above ours. The next morning, I asked my sister how she'd managed to get any sleep.
It was like really busy, and I'm in my room, and my mom comes in. When my mom comes in, she's panicking, she's freaking out. She's like, someone get up, they're shooting. I'm like, what? She runs into the living room, and she tells me to go get her phone, which is in her room. So I run to go get her phone, and she calls 911. Y'all, this is kind of, okay, this part is kind of funny. Okay, so we run into my mom's room, and the 911 operator goes, are you calling for...
Obviously, my ass wasn't missing homecoming. I went and I never saw Debbie there. So it's a few days after the homecoming dance. Everyone's back in school. Homecoming's over. I had left my water bottle in one of my teacher's classrooms. Me and this teacher been homies for 5 years. I go, knock, 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 knock. Hey, I think I left my water bottle on your door. She goes, get out. And I said, get out? I said, Miss Girl, why are you so mad at me? She goes, Debbie told me what you did, and I think that's disgusting. I said, what did she tell you that I did? I shit you not. This grown adult teacher.
My dad's like, what the fuck? So he wakes up from a nap. He goes out and Dino's going, Lou, I'm sorry. Like, my wife, you know, she can be like a little funny sometimes. My dad's like, yeah, sorry, man. Like, if she says you gotta go, like, now the wife's on the patio sobbing. She's asking my dad if she can apologize to my mom, and my mom is inside going, no, get in the fucking car. My parents take them to the airport. 1989, no flights, no phones. You're not figuring anything out till you get there. Dad leaves them there. Sorry, did I say my parents took them to the airport? I mean, my dad took them to the airport. My dad leaves them there, never saw them again. Heard through the grapevine that they got divorced a year later.
Friends?
Come back for part 2.
Part 2? If you didn't watch the last video, go watch, as this one won't make any sense. Also, before we start, the guy I like, his nickname for this video is Strawberry. Basically, I got home and a GC was created between Belle and her friends. It was mainly Belle's friends speaking and Belle just sitting on the chat. They were all just asking me normal questions, and then one of them said, can we just get to the point as to why we made this GC, and they all agreed. Honestly, I was waiting to know.
Would get compliments from people. Like, for example, there was this one time where she sent a snap of me and her to her friend. And her friend responded saying like, oh, your friend is really pretty. And I thought that was really sweet. But then she proceeded to send a snap back. But instead of sending a normal snap, she put her phone in my face like this up close to find like an ugly angle. And she was like, no, but she's not pretty in real life. She's not pretty in real life. And I was like, girl, what the fuck? And every time I would confront her on these things, she would just be like, oh.
And she took my dog. Literally, like, they drove away with my dog and then let it go in the middle of the woods. But I guess it's okay because I got my dog back. Story time about why you just can't bring some friends around your boyfriend. So a little background information. I was 17 and a junior in high school. And I had been best friends with this one girl who we're going to call Lily for about 2 years. Now, Lily and I weren't your ordinary best friends. We were the ones that would party together, but we would never talk about anything serious. And when I mean serious things, I mean like a secret that you don't want anybody to know.
And brought us back in and I was like, you can have it. Like, my dad was like, I'll pay, like, just stop. I was like, fuck, like, my life's over. Like, I'm never gonna live again. Like, this is literally the worst thing that's ever happened to me. It was pretty bad, but... So then they, like, took our names and stuff, and they were like, you'll get something in the mail, like, about this. And I was like, okay. And then my parents, like, let us have a sleepover for some reason, because, like, she didn't want to go home because she was scared. So they were like, okay, like, you could just sleep over. They weren't even, like, that mad, but, like, they were just, like, confused. And, like, my dad was like,
make that pistol pop.
My head, I think it's her. Based off of the messages she was sending to these guys and the screenshots that they were sending to me, I could analyze the way this catfish was typing, and the way this person was typing was exactly the same way as she used to type. Like, she used to use emojis in certain places, and she just used to use, you know, just someone's style of texting. I was so sure it was her, and she had motive to
better to do with my life. Peace, love, and happiness.
If you ever feel embarrassed, just think about the time I literally begged a girl to fight me so that everyone would think I was from the hood. My Swiftie, Lululemon loving ass, I was trying to tussle. So when I was a junior in high school, in my mind, I was Cardi B. And on top of that, it's just like all the YouTubers like Tana, they were all making story times like, oh,
these lies are outlandish and you're believing them. Right. I was thinking, so you're just running a charity case. You're just running a charity case here. She's just giving money to the peasants, the poor, the brokies that beg her, the homeless people. And I was like, no, they've never met before. That's my cousin. They don't even have each other on socials. Like, do any due diligence. Have you not gone on Instagram following? You go and see, and she's not followed back by any of these people, but she follows them. Does that look like she knows those people?